Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic.
We're still trying to find out exactly where these attacks have been taking place, where these bases are in Iraq, and of course, what the damage will be from them. We have learned that President Trump has been briefed on what's been going on. The White House put out a statement roughly about 15 or 20 minutes or so, if we can put it up. It basically says that the White House is aware of the reports of the attacks on U.S. facilities in Iraq. The president has been briefed and is monitoring the situation closely and consulting with his national security team. That's coming from the White House press secretary, Stephanie Grisham, within the last 15 or 20 minutes or so. Now, we have not heard yet exactly how the U.S. would decide to respond to an attack like this, but of course, there right now is the concern for the people that are on the ground, the Americans that are based at these different facilities all across Iraq, and what the damage will look like. We have seen some of the images starting to pop up on social media from groups trying to show that these were the missile launches, these were the rocket attacks as they were going on, Lou. But right now, there is simply so much that we do not know. We have heard from some lawmakers at this point, including from Connecticut Senator Chris Murphy, who said right now that he is simply praying for all of the American troops that are stationed overseas in Iraq. And Lou, at this point right now, we're also waiting to find out whether or not congressional leaders may have been notified about what was going on. There has been a report that's come out in the last few minutes that Speaker Pelosi may have been having a chance to be briefed on what was going on. However, we have not confirmed that yet. That's just happening right now, Lou. So one of the big questions, of course, is what is this going to mean for U.S. infrastructure that is over there, and of course for American lives? That is the biggest concern at this hour, is what will this mean for the American service members that are based over there in Iraq? We have been waiting to see whether or not we'll hear more from the White House tonight. They had already called a lid, essentially meaning that they didn't expect any more news to happen this evening at the White House. We've already seen some reporters making their way back. It's snowing here in Washington, and not normally that wouldn't be a big deal in January, but a number of the government offices closed early today, Lou, to make sure that people could get home to beat the storm. It's unclear whether or not that would have impacted anybody at the Pentagon or anybody else that would have been needing to be on hand to be abreast of what's happening there in Iraq. Lou, we have not heard again of any additional updates what's going on, but we are waiting to find out whether or not some congressional leaders knew about what Iran was doing as it was unfolding, and what, of course, their response. Again, we're waiting to see as this all unfolds in the next couple of minutes and several hours ahead. Lou?
Mark, thank you very much.
Hello, American patriots. Welcome to another episode of the Douglas Ducote Show. And sadly, tonight's show is going to be about what is happening at this exact moment in Iraq. Once again, a place that I've been to twice in my life under the orders of the President of the United States. There are a lot of you, as well as veterans that served in Operation Desert Shield, Desert Storm with myself, Operation Iraqi Freedom, that are looking at this with mixed emotions. But tonight, I want to put it all in perspective as to how America in general is looking at this, and some of the things that are being said right now about this operation and about our troops, about our president, and so forth. I will tell you this: we do not know yet if the president's going to address the nation tonight, but if he does, I will stop talking and we will split the screen, and we will all sit here and watch what the president has to say. So you don't have to, try and balance both things at the same time with your television set. Let's talk real quick about how is Iran able to have the financial, be able to buy the things they have, build up the military forces that they have to start this type of an attack against American forces? Where did they get this money from? We know that sanctions have been squeezing the hell out of them, and their people, the people of Iran are suffering like really, really bad, like Venezuela type suffering, with not enough food and clothing and water and medical supplies and whatnot, but their military just keeps expanding. So I want to take a moment to bring us all back into how this came to be. Let's go back to the Obama administration just a few years ago. The Obama administration paid $1.3 billion, $1.3 billion in just interest to Iran to resolve a decades-old dispute over an undelivered military sale. 2 days after allowing $400 million to be transported over there via U.S. military aircraft to Iran. Tehran is where they went, with $400 million in cash. State Department spokeswoman Elizabeth Trudeau said the U.S. couldn't say more about the January 19th payments because of diplomatic sensitivities. Bullshit. They involved 13 separate payments of $99.999 million and a final payment of $10 million. Did any of that go to the people of Iran for food, medical, clothing, education, infrastructure? Hell no. It all went to their military forces, Hezbollah, all their offshoots, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, and their nuclear weapon program that under the Obama administration worked out all these side deals right in front of our face. And we're trying to impeach President Trump. I do believe, and I'm not a rocket scientist, but to give this kind of money to a country that in 1984 was labeled a terrorist country, our enemy, not an ally, our sworn enemy and the enemy of Israel, to give this kind of money to them, I think that falls under high crimes and misdemeanors. I think that falls under treason. I think that falls under aiding and abetting the enemy. But hey, let's not stop there. What else did Obama do? How many of you remember when he traded five captured Islamic terrorists that we caught on the battlefield responsible for killing, injuring, maiming U.S. forces, traded them for one Army deserter, Sergeant Burdog? I think that's aiding and abetting the enemy right there. The Obama administration set us up for failure when it comes to Iran. It agreed with them to allow the nuclear program, and this was all done with John Kerry over there, by the way. It was all done with them having the upper hand and the power as to how they could and when they could expand their nuclear program. Let's just be honest and face the truth that nobody else wants to tell you, but I will. Their mission in life is to destroy Israel and America. Period. Plain and simple. Done. Stick a fork in it. That's what they want to do. In fact, let's take it a little bit further than that. If they had the opportunity to come over here and strike America, and we just did a show on that explaining to you that there are sleeper cells that we're worried about activating any moment now in America, where do you think they're going to hit first? Well, my guess is it's going to be on a Sunday, and it's going to be in Christian churches across America. Why? Because radical Islamic terrorists want to kill all Christians, and they do that on a daily basis all over the globe. But yet, Trump just tweeted out that nothing's off limits target-wise. If you attack us again, our forces over in Iran or wherever, we're going to go and bomb the living shit out of you. And we don't care what we hit. And I'll be damned if Hollywood didn't go all up in arms and members of the Democrats and the Congress about how you cannot strike a mosque. You cannot kill innocent men and women and children. Do you think Iran or these radical Islamic terrorists give two shits about anyone in America? A church, women, children? What are you thinking? Well, that's the biggest problem, is that they're not. They're not thinking. And everything is Trump's fault. And they don't think about what Obama did to put us in the situation we're in right now. So we just talked about Obama for a little bit. Let's talk about someone else. Someone who was a first lady, and then she went on to become a Secretary of State. And then she ran against Republicans in an attempt to become the President of the United States. I want to take you back to April 21st, 2008. And I want you to hear what Hillary Clinton had to say.
President, we will attack. I'm the president, we will attack Iran. And I want them to understand that, because it does mean that they have to look very carefully at their society, because whatever stage of development they might be in their nuclear weapons program in the next 10 years, during which they might foolishly consider launching an attack on Israel, we would be able to totally obliterate them. If I'm the president, we will attack Iran.
Hillary Rodham Clinton, if you elect me to be president, I will attack Iran. Where are we at, liberals, snowflakes, Democrats? You let Hillary say and do all the crazy shit that comes out of her mouth, and Obama as well. While we're on that subject, let's talk about a few other people that think it's funny to trash what's going on. How about any of you NFL fans out there? Former Tennessee Titans defensive tackle Albert Haynesworth suggested via a Sunday social media post that Iran should target the White House. This is an American citizen that made millions of dollars playing in the NFL, played for the Tennessee Titans. Haynesworth posted an image to Instagram featuring a red circle around the White House with an arrow pointing to it. Outside the circle reads, "Not affiliated." At Iran, if you're going to attack the United States, well, here's a picture for you. Hashtag just trying to help us folks that aren't starting wars. That piss you off? Rob Reiner. What a horrible sinking feeling having a commander-in-chief who you know is a pathological liar trying to justify striking the heart of Iran's military. Because we killed a known terrorist that killed hundreds of American service members and civilians. Rosie, you know, off to war, God help us, hashtag remove Trump. Rosanna acquit. Hitler did the same thing. Michael Moore. Oh boy, here we go. Hello, fellow Americans. Do you know this man? And he has a photograph of the terrorist that we took out. Did you know he was your enemy? What? Question mark. Never heard of him? Question mark. By the end of today, you will be trained to hate him. You will be glad. Trump had him assassinated. You will do as you are told. Get ready to send your sons and daughters off to war. Michael Moore. There is, I've been saying it, a lot of other conservatives, Republicans, patriots, YouTubers, that some of the hate that's coming from those on the left is completely and utterly disgusting, over the top, and just outright out of control. Yesterday, well, let me back up, not just yesterday, but yesterday as well. But our team's been down on the border, been doing this border investigation to show you the drugs coming across and the human trafficking and the sex trafficking and the MS-13 gang members and all the things that the drive-by media doesn't want to show you. And while down there, we came across where some Muslims had come across the Rio Grande, and it had marked an area for others to follow. And we found a Muslim headscarf made in the Middle East. And we brought that and shared that with Border Patrol and local law enforcement and people that live there. And it was confirmed to us by all of them that yes, they are catching people from Iran and other Middle Eastern countries coming across the border with the intent to kill Americans. They fly in easily to Central and South America and just come on up with the rest of the folks. They can't fly into America because if they did, they would be captured and sent back or whatever, because we know they're up to no good. And then we were able to find out that thousands of them have managed to get across that didn't get captured by our border agents, because they're understaffed, by the way, if you didn't know that. How many of you know about the Southern Poverty Law Center? They happen to know all about who hate groups are. And basically, everyone on the right that happens to be on social media, according to them, is a hate group. Well, let me read something to you really quick that just came out. The following statement is by Southern Poverty Law Center interim president and CEO Karen Baynes, B-A-Y-N-E-S, Dunning. Following reports that Iranians and Iranian Americans are being detained and questioned at U.S. ports of entry, reports that the U.S. Customs and Border Protection is detaining and questioning Iranian Americans is a direct violation of their constitutional rights, and every single one of us should be alarmed. Karen, let me explain something to you for a second. They don't have any goddamn constitutional rights because they're not Americans, you stupid ass. They're coming over here to kill us. Since day one, the Trump administration has used fear to target black and brown communities. And it continues as Iranians and Iranian Americans are being held at ports of entry for hours and asked about their beliefs. Oh, dear God, don't ask them about their beliefs. You can't do that. We cannot sit by and watch as this administration uses fear-mongering as a weapon to strip men and women of their dignity and their rights, just as the nation did during World War II with the Japanese and Japanese Americans. The treatment of Iranians and Iranian Americans is reminiscent of the shameful chapter in our nation's history, and we must do everything we can to ensure it is stopped. Well, son of a bitch. Color me freaking rainbow and send my ass to San Francisco. Are you shitting me? We, in the past 48 hours, have had former members of the CIA and the FBI tell us on Fox News, on CNN, on MSNBC, that there are terror cells right here in America waiting for the Ayatollah to tell them to kill us. And this bitch has the nerve to say that we're the bad guys for capturing these people coming across our border from Iran. They've been killing American service members for years. This guy that we just took out a few days ago is worse than Hitler. He's worse than Osama bin Laden. He's worse than all of these freaking dictators that killed not only their own people, but are responsible for the deaths of Jewish people and Americans and Christians. Yet we have these snowflakes, because I don't know what else to call them, that somehow think we are the bad guys. Like, let's see, Ilhan Omar and Rashid Tlaib, who we allowed to swear into Congress to Allah with their hand on the freaking Bible. I'm sorry, on the Quran, not the Bible. They swore in on the Quran. The Quran that tells them that basically all non-believers are to perish. And you're supposed to do something about it. You either convert to their religion or you should face the consequences. Women should be submissive. They should cover their face, cover their body. Shouldn't be able to vote, shouldn't be able to drive cars. If you're a member of the LGBTQ, T, E, F, G, whatever the other letters are, you're a dead person walking because they will kill you. And that's who we want in America? Ilhan Omar, if you didn't know this, Congresswoman, one each from Minnesota, in her mind, because we know, because she said it, and you can look it up on YouTube and see her saying it, the incident that took place in Mogadishu when our U.S. Black Hawk was shot down. They did a movie about it, by the way, called Black Hawk Down. Those brave men and women of the 160th Night Stalkers and the Rangers and all the other forces that were involved fighting for their lives from these savages. Ilhan Omar, Congresswoman, said that they were the real terrorists. She was born there, by the way. This woman that we allowed to come to America from a shithole country as a refugee and her family now hate us and our military and our president and our veterans and our law enforcement officers and our Constitution and our founding fathers and every damn thing we stand for. How do we know that? Because she says it. She tweets it. She gives speeches about it. Look it up. It's all over the internet for you to hear it yourself. Don't just take my word for it. And Rashid Tlaib is the exact same way. AOC is the exact same way. And now, the older Democrats are just falling right in suit with them. Nancy Pelosi, what a piece of work. Let's see what Nancy had to say today. Here we go. Nancy said, let's see, lawmakers swiftly responded after Iran fired more than a dozen ballistic missiles into Iraq on Tuesday, targeting U.S. military and coalition forces, signaling a significant escalation of tensions against the U.S. following the death of Iranian Force General Qassem Soleimani, or whatever the frick his name is. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Democrat California, was handed a note during a House Democrat leadership meeting informing her the attacks on 2 military bases today, respectively, that house U.S. forces in Iraq. Pelosi returned a phone call to President Pence at approximately 6:34 p.m. when he briefed her on the attack. Then she tweets out, closely monitoring the situation following bombings targeting U.S. troops in Iraq. Good. She should. She's the House Speaker. We must ensure the safety of our service members. You're right. We should. Including ending needless provocations from the administration and demanding that Iran cease its violence. America and world cannot afford war. Nancy, we've been at war for 19 freaking years against radical Islamic terrorists. Just in case you sobered up tonight and didn't realize it. Since 9/11, wake up. They're the people that attacked us. They were radical Islamic terrorists. Yeah, that group was from Saudi Arabia, but it doesn't matter. Whether it's Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Iran, the whole freaking Middle East is loaded with people that hate us because of the way they interpret the Quran. Period. Nancy, you should know this. But yet, you want to follow suit with the rest of these liberal freaks that are younger than you, that basically now are controlling the Democrat Party. Not you. You've lost control of that party. Breaking news that's happening right now, I want to share with you real quick. This just came out on Sean Hannity. Says announces that 6 B-52 bombers are on their way to the region, and the carrier groups are already in striking distance. Hannity's a little slow in that because the B-52s launched earlier today, and the carrier strike group has been there for over a month. Let's put it that way. You can go look at their website for the carrier strike, the different carrier groups, and they tell you where they're at. So much for keeping shit classified and not talking about it. Loose lips, sink ships. Yeah, remember that? Folks, the saddest part of all of this is we have right here in America, American citizens, many of them that have influence over others because they have huge followings in the millions on social media. You know, when I say something about Michael Moore, or Rosie O'Donnell, or AOC, or, you know, all these people, and people say, you know, who gives a shit about what they have to say? Okay. And they're losers. They're okay. I care. You know why I care? Because they're influencing young minds. Most of their followers are in high school and college. They're not 40, 50, 60, 70-year-old adults. They're young kids. That's who's following them by the freaking millions. That's who will be voting soon. Trump won the Electoral College. He didn't win the popular vote. Folks, I'm telling you, these people that have millions following them on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook that are far left liberals, they have an agenda. It's the same agenda that Bernie Sanders has, and Elizabeth Warren, Cory Booker, Kamala Harris, Buttigieg, or whatever his name is over there from Texas. You know, those that want to be the next president of the United States want to go up against Trump. And there's some sick and twisted people that are saying some things that are outright horrible. And this young group of kids that believe what's coming out of their mouth. And they will, if left unchecked, influence enough of these people to eventually be in the places they need them to win the Electoral College. Then you've got the billionaires like George Soros that's pumping in money to all these far left groups that are brainwashing these kids and pumping in money to get liberals elected into positions. And he's smart. I'm telling you, the guy's a genius. Okay? Like mad scientist genius, but he's slowly but surely started getting at the local levels in your little towns, on up to Washington, D.C., getting these folks, supporting them financially to win elections. Look at Virginia right now. That's a prime example of George Soros' money. The Democrats now run that state, and they're about to attempt to take away the Second Amendment rights of the law-abiding citizens there, which is why a whole bunch of us are heading there really soon on January 20th to take a stand and go, not happening. Not happening. And across this country, we have a lot of blue states. And if that's allowed to happen over there, it's going to follow suit everywhere else in other Democrat states where they've already gained control. And with elections coming up in 2020, you can bet there is millions and millions poured into how do we get the Electoral College? And how do we get the rest of these states to turn blue? That's happening while most of the good people, which would be you and I, those that are conservative, those that are Republican, those that believe in God, those that believe in, the Bible and our rights, our Constitution, that are law-abiding citizens, that support our law enforcement, our military, a good percentage of us aren't paying attention. We're not paying attention to what's happening in these other areas. When I talk about CNN or MSNBC or something that was said or done, and I get tons of people and messages, emails, and stuff going, dude, why are you watching that shit? Turn it off. Well, I learned a long time ago. The U.S. military taught me this. You need to know your enemy. You need to know what they're up to. You need to know what they're doing. You need to know who they are. How else do you get that information? I get it by watching the outrageous, stupid, ridiculous crap that comes out of some of these hosts' mouth. And sadly, I'm here to tell you that Fox News is starting to lean that way too. There are people, hosts on Fox News, that are turning against our president and turning against what we stand for. And that is soon to be the biggest downfall of America. A complete and utter breakdown of our society. Do we want another civil war? I don't. I don't like war, period. Been there, done that. But I'd be happy if I have to support the oath I took to defend this country against all enemies, foreign, which I've already done, and then domestic, which is right here in America. And you need to be ready to do that too. We should pray for peace. We should pray that we never have to do something like that. But what's happening right now with Iran? They have poked the bear until finally we had a president that said, I'm done with your silly ass. We finally had a president with enough balls to say, take that son of a bitch out, kill him. Send a freaking missile in there and just wipe him off the planet for what he's done to our servicemen and women and American citizens. Kill him. Obama wanted to do it. His administration knew about this general. Obama wouldn't do it. Bush Jr., the administration knew about him. They wouldn't do it. Nobody had what it took to take the guy out. Trump did. He did a damn good job. But now, Iran's stupid enough to see how far they can go. What can they do now? Look, they've been taking over oil tankers out there, keeping them hostages. Hell, they even took some of our Navy, remember just recently, some of our Navy sailors were taken into custody over on the seas and captured by the, I don't even know how the shit that went down, because I'd have died right there shooting. All right. No way in hell would I have surrendered my men to that group of thugs. But it happened, and, so be it. But now we have right here in America We know in the last 72 hours now that we have sleeper cells right here in America. We ain't done nothing to them. We haven't arrested them. Why? Because, they haven't committed a crime yet. Homeland Security knows they're here. It's on their website, a freaking alert bulletin letting you know that you might die tomorrow due to an Iranian terror cell. And how many of you heard that on the news? Nope. I read it to you in last night's video we did, the emergency broadcast we did. I read the damn thing. And I've had people all day going, son of a bitch, I didn't even know that existed. Go to Homeland Security's website. Check that shit out. You know, they normally talk about them and the State Department, where not to travel because of bad guys. Son of a bitch, they're talking about it right here in America. Watch your six. Be prepared. Watch your surroundings. Report anything, that's bad. We know that it's possibly going to happen. And then I go down to the border and bam, bring you the proof and show it to you in a video. And then now we have members of the CIA and the FBI coming out saying that, yeah, we know they're here. Give me just a second. It looks like we got some more breaking news popping up. White House responds that CNN is fake news and the president was never going to speak. Hang on. This is not true, was never true. And no one even attempted to confirm with the press office before tweeting. In a race to be first to break news, the public once again falls victim to irresponsible reporting by CNN. That's freaking great. So I guess the president's not going to interrupt my show tonight. And we also, look, there's some times when I just, I shake my head at this guy, and there are other times when I go, son of a gun, I want to high five you. It is what it is. Look, we're going to take a quick break, folks, and I'll come back and we will share a few other things with you that's very important you need to know, and we'll wrap up the show. So hang on, we'll be right back. Hello, American Patriots. Douglas Ducote here. The Second Amendment, it's not for hunting. It's for protecting ourselves against our government. Well, the last thing you need to worry about is your weapon being rusted and not working. Folks, here's your product. FirearmGuard.com. Use promo code Doug for free shipping. This will protect your weapon from any rust and mildew issues. Breaking news. Michael Moore apologizes to Iran on behalf of U.S. for killing their general. He's a freaking American. I don't know. It's, I go to sleep at, literally, this is a true story. I go to sleep at night thinking, damn, I'm glad today's over with. Son of a bitch, it can't get any worse than it has today. And I'll wake up the next morning and turn on the news or look at my phone and the tweets and all the shit going on and look at it and go, holy jeez, this person said what, or they did this or that, or, and I, what the hell was I thinking? It got worse. Every day seems to be just one more step towards the collapse of America. Because we got lazy. We got laxed. And we didn't do shit about it. Now, on our behalf, we're the people that have jobs and work for a living and raise our family and go to the softball games with our kids and gymnastics and you know, have barbecues in the backyard on Sunday and you know, take vacations and you know, we do things. We have a life. And in having that life, we lost what was happening to the other half, which was them slowly but surely injecting and infiltrating far left liberals into our schools to teach our kids, especially our colleges, and then give them tenure where you can't fire them, no matter what they say or do. They're there to stay. And then we don't get involved. We just roll it off like water on a duck's back. You know, I don't have the answer other than we screwed up, America. We allowed over half of this country to start thinking and acting like socialists. Far left liberals then infiltrated the Democrat Party and destroyed it. And you ain't seen nothing yet. Trust me. AOC and Ilhan Omar and Rashid Tlaib and Presley or whatever her freaking name is, they've just scratched the surface. If we don't get people in their areas to vote their ass out, which is what we have to do, then it's going to be over with. I've shared this story before, and I'll share it with you all, especially those of you that are tuning in for the first time. It's the first time you've ever heard me say this. My great uncle Charlie Rachelle, he served in World War II. He was on the USS Wisconsin, the Milwaukee and the Biloxi. He was on the Biloxi when a Japanese kamikaze pilot flew into it. And he was injured, and one of his best friends was killed. He survives World War II and goes about his life. And on his deathbed, he told me, and you know, I'm going to try my best to quote it, but it was like, I don't know why God is allowing me to continue to be here. I want to go. This is not the America that I served for. I don't know what this is anymore. And Obama was president at that point. And although that was pretty powerful, and I understood 3/4 of it, there was still a part of me that said, damn, how can you let it get that bad in your mind that you just don't want to go on? You're like, take me, God. I want to go because I can't deal with this anymore. My country is gone. That's how he saw it. And that's coming from a World War II veteran. Today, a few years later, I get it. I really get it. I understand exactly how he felt. Because I listen to those on the left, and I listen to the Democrats, and I watch C-SPAN, and I watch all the hearings, everything that's happening, and watch this corrupt government destroy us and everything that men and women have ever died for. And some of you might think, oh, damn, Doug, it's not that bad. It's because you're not paying attention. I'm telling you, it's freaking bad out there. It's really, really bad what the liberals and now Democrats are doing to the United States of America. In fact, it's like a fungus that is growing out of control. And I pray, literally pray, that God finds a way to get us out of this mess we're in. Some people tell me, hey, Doug, it's the end of times. All right. This is what's supposed to happen. I don't know. Maybe it is. But I'm going to at least go out, if that's the case, fighting, standing on my feet, doing everything in my power to help my fellow Americans that actually are law-abiding citizens and want to stand up to those that want to strip us of our rights and our Constitution. Stand up against those that are against our military and our vets and our law enforcement officers. How dare them? And there's many of them. And we need to wake the hell up and realize it. That battle that's taken place that I mentioned earlier in Virginia, and I got a video out on that I just did. Check it out. I put it back out yesterday. That's crazy. It's literally absolutely batshit crazy what those Democrats in the state of Virginia are trying to do. If they get their way, hell, you won't even be able to teach your children gun safety or how to shoot a weapon, because that would be a felony conviction. You won't be able to own an AR-15. You won't be able to own any semi-automatic weapon, even a handgun. And right now we have just about every county sheriff in the state of Virginia has come out and said, I will not enforce this unconstitutional laws you're trying to pass to strip away the Second Amendment. And then these same Democrat liberals that I'm talking about are saying, well, then we will call out the National Guard. We will have our governor, who's a Democrat, Mr. Blackface, we'll call it the National Guard and we will arrest all the sheriffs and we will go door to door and take away your guns. Yeah. That's how freaking crazy they are. That's what they really believe will happen. It will be bloodshed, literally, if they attempted to do that. And the red flag laws that are happening right now is just that. You know how many people, since red flag laws started going into existence, are now dead because they stood their ground, but nobody else was there to help them stand their ground? Because that's what's going to happen when you say, guess what? You're going to pry it from my cold, dead hands. Not doing it. Boom. They're getting shot. That's some scary shit. Looks like Donald Trump just tweeted out again, all is well. Missiles launched from Iran at 2 military bases located in Iraq. Assessment of casualties and damages taking place now. So far, so good. We have the most powerful and well-equipped military anywhere in the world by far. I'll be making a statement tomorrow morning. Well, there you go. Thank you, President Trump, for letting us know that nobody that we know of right now was injured. I'm one that says we don't need boots on the ground to finish this, to take care of this problem. We don't. No, we don't need boots on the ground over there. Nope, don't do it. You send the B-52s and the B-1s and the stealth bombers and the stealth fighters, and you carpet bomb the shit out of them all the way up to their 72 virgins that they think they're going to get, which actually is probably going to turn out to be a freaking 72 goats. Think about that for a moment. The difference between the American fighting service member and those in these radical Islamic terrorists, the difference, the big difference, is that we want to survive, not die. We want to come home to our family, our children, our wives, or husbands. We love America. And they, on the other hand, they believe it's an honor to die on the battlefield because of what they're going to get from Allah when they get there. I want to thank all of those that came over to the show from American Joe's show. I was on there last night. If you haven't been to his platform before, please go over to American Joe and like his channel and watch what he puts out every day. Great guy. He and I will be together over in Virginia here in a few days, and doing a lot of other stuff. He's gonna be joining me when we do the border tour from Brownsville all the way down to San Diego, which is temporarily just put on hold because this Second Amendment fight right now is a little more important, because we know what's happening on the border, and that's not changing. That's going to continue going for a long freaking time. But that's still going down, so it will happen. Here's what we need to do. We need to, whether it's you pray or you cross your fingers or just put out good vibes in the world, do it. Do something. Do something patriotic. Hell, when was the last time anyone went to a VA hospital or a VA retirement home? Or just stop by your local police department with a dozen donuts. I used to be a cop. Trust me, we like donuts. Do something good for mankind, for your neighbors. Sadly, today, too many people don't even know who their neighbors are. Living across the street from them for years or next door. Don't even know their freaking names. Because it's not the same America that we had when I was growing up. I'll be 58 here soon, in a few months. The other thing I wanted to say, my wife is having to work late tonight, but I know that she's watching the show. So happy anniversary, baby. I'll be happy when you get home tonight. Today is our wedding anniversary. A few years ago, for some unknown reason, the woman said, I want to spend the rest of my life with you. And somehow she's managed to continue to put up with my ass. And look, I don't know how. And I don't know what I did to deserve such a wonderful woman that is an amazing blessing to me and our children and humanity. I mean, she's got a bigger heart than anyone I know. And she's a good woman, and I'm blessed to be married to her. So with that, please say a prayer for our men and women serving the United States military right this moment. They need our prayers. Our veterans, our law enforcement officers, our first responders, their families serve too. Our angel families, for those of you that don't know, those are the ones that have lost a child to an illegal immigrant. Our blue and gold star families, our president, and our country. I hope you all have a wonderful and blessed day. Please go over to douglasducote.com and sign up with your email address if you haven't already done so. So when they remove me from social media, you'll still be able to follow me and my show and my videos and know what we're doing. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. douglasducote.com. Thank you, everyone. Have a blessed and wonderful evening. And for now, I'm Douglas Ducote, and I'm out. I, Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and